All right, welcome everybody back to the Parlor for the first episode, first showing of Bullshit Behind the Bourbon Barrel.
There you go. Love it.
And so we're back. Now That's a Show. This will be on Now That's a Show channel. But this is the first iteration of Bullshit Behind the Bourbon Barrel. And tonight's guest, maybe a full-time co-host, is Sharon Gerald. Sharon here is a neighbor friend of mine. I'm going to let Sharon introduce herself and tell us, really how we met, how she got involved in this, and what she, the reason she thought it'd be a good idea to participate in one of these.
Hi, I'm Sharon. It's nice to meet you guys. I got involved in this because I talk too much, and I think I actually offered to Chris that I would do this, which was obviously a mistake. Like, I should have never really offered myself up for this, but it's very fun, and I'm excited to be here. And, yeah. Well, and the topic that we have tonight, so there is a very interesting podcast out there, and I really like it. It's one for you guys to look for. It's a big national one. It's called Things You're Wrong About. And I think that's the coolest name for a podcast, and just a really interesting story that they would tell. And they have lots of different topics, and I've only listened to a couple of them, but I just think that's a cool idea and a cool thought for a podcast and a cool way to do things. A couple of the ones I've listened to have been true, where they have talked about things and put it in a different light than you would expect. Some of them, though, they don't, and so that's kind of disappointing. Like, I would like to know things. I would like to see both sides of a story.
What was your favorite one?
So my favorite one was one about a prison test that's called, oh, wait, now I'm going to forget the name of it. The Stanford Prison Project. Stanford in California. And what the study was, they did this psychological evaluation, this psychological study, and what they decided that the end of it is that just because you're given a role as like a guard versus a prisoner, that because you're given a role,
you probably earned that role though as a prisoner.
No. It was a flip of a coin. So they had the way the
so this wasn't in a real prison. This was like
no. It's a Stanford prison experiment. What it was a professor or a whatever at Stanford, and he put an ad out and said, for X amount of dollars, I need men to come and take part in this trial. And so when you got there, they flipped a coin, and either you were a prisoner or you were a guard. And the point that it comes out that he proved was that because you flipped a coin and you were a guard, it meant that you had this kind of power, and you felt more powerful over the prisoners just naturally, just because, not for any good reason except that you had flipped a coin and now you were a guard. And so that's the theory that he went with, and he sold this everywhere, and he put it out there, and he put it on the line, and he wrote articles about it and all this stuff. He put it on the line, he put it in articles and everything. And really, that's not what happened. And that was the cool thing about this podcast, is they talked about that, and they said actually they told the prisoners to how to behave. They told the guards how to behave. They said, you have to be meaner, you have to do this, you have to do that. And so all the things they gave them were actually directions. These people weren't mean just because they had
So it was a phony and a fraud?
It was a phony and a fraud. And that's kind
now,
of
did the prisoners, though, if you were a prisoner, was it okay for you to, like, violate somebody in the shower? Did they do that?
No, they didn't do that. I don't think they did that.
Too soon?
Too soon. But it was just, people reference that study, and it turns out that it was not a real study.
Well, don't they do that all the time, though? Don't they reference something that it turns out it's just not true? That, I guess, hence the show, right?
Yes, okay. Hence the show, which is why I thought that was a cool premise for a show.
Well, how about that? So do you have anything in mind like that you've thought of that you thought was true? And let's go back. We can go back to when you were younger, like things that you believed in that you thought were true, but you eventually found out they weren't true.
Well,
we won't use the Christmas guy because we might have some viewers here.
Oh yeah, no, not that one. That one's true. What is it? Swimming after you eat. That might be one.
And what do they say? So go to the swimming.
You have to wait a half an hour before you can swim. But as a mom, moms do that all the time, honestly. We say things to our kids to make them do things that we want them to do, even though we
know that it's not true.
know that it's not true. For instance, swimming after you eat. Like,
well,
I think
that's
that's
the
a mom
cramping thing, right?
Yes, but I don't know.
I mean, how many people do you know that like drown after?
I don't know anyone that drowned after eating, after swimming.
So that's one of them, right? So that's the one that they always say that you have to rest after eating, right? The one I always heard as a kid that I found out wasn't true was, well, there's several, but one of them was you can see the Great Wall of China from space.
Oh.
That's not true.
You can't?
No.
You could see that volcano that just erupted, though.
Yeah, but that wasn't really space. That was just a satellite.
Yeah.
Speaking of volcanoes, we've always been told that Mount Everest is the tallest mountain in the world. Is Mount Everest the tallest mountain in the world?
I don't know.
We have some studio guests here that didn't really want to participate. So yeah, we've always been told, right?
Yes, I think it's a very tall mountain. I don't know if it's the tallest.
It is regarded as the highest elevation, tallest mountain in the world.
Is it not?
It is not.
Oh. It's the tallest mountain.
Mauna Kea, the volcano on the Big Island of Hawaii, is actually taller. It's 33,000 feet, whereas Mount Everest is 29,000 feet. But because a good portion of it, over half of it, is underwater, they say.
But wait, I would think it would have to rise the same height into the air, not just where it started from the bottom.
Elevation.
So the elevation of it is
33,000
feet. So.
But half of it's underwater because it's in the ocean, whereas Mount Everest is in the mountains.
So it just looks bigger?
Yeah.
Like to the naked eye.
Right.
Like if you're standing on the actual
naked
ground.
eye, yeah.
It just looks bigger. But you're not standing on the bottom of the ocean, so you can't see how tall that looks.
Yeah. So you'd have to be like 15,000 feet down in the ocean.
That would be deep.
But it's one of those things that didn't ruin my childhood or anything. But
that's a good one.
I've always been told.
No, that's a good one. Do you have any others?
Oh, I got some. Toilet seats are not full of germs.
Really?
You know, you guys ever watch Mythbusters?
Yes.
Okay. So one of my favorite Mythbusters episodes was they tested, they tried to find the cleanest and dirtiest places in their office. And so what they did is they took, I don't know if this is the right word, microbes.
Okay.
From different surfaces. And in their building, their company office, what do you think the dirtiest, most germy surface was?
Their cell phone.
Yep. Close.
Their keyboard.
That was up there.
A regular telephone.
Their kitchen floor.
Ew.
Their kitchen floor. But one of the cleanest was the toilet seat. Because the toilet seat's not porous, right?
No.
So, like, you think about it, what they did is they took a piece of bologna and they drop it on it, and then they would take it, peel it off or whatever surface it was on, and then put those little whatever microbes or bacteria in like a little tube. The toilet seat was not even close to being dirty.
Interesting.
It's like the TikToker, right? That's famous. This is Antonio Brown. You know the wide receiver Antonio Brown? The night before he did his antics,
yes,
he had this TikTok social media influencer chick that became famous. She became famous because she would film herself licking toilet seats.
No, why would you do that?
So she stayed with him the night before.
Yeah, that's not.
But it turns out it's no big deal. She thought she was like doing something crazy.
It's still a little bit of a deal.
Licking toilet seats is fine.
It's still pretty gross.
So that's another one I had. I thought that was interesting.
I didn't know
The myth that you lose most of your body heat through your head. So you're always told to wear a cap.
that. No, that's not true.
Nope.
Where do you lose most of your body heat?
Any exposed area, whether it's hands, feet, legs, knees. So it's the exposed area. You're never on this game up there.
Is it just because your head is usually exposed that people think?
Well,
that?
it's easy to cover your head, but you lose about 7% off your head.
I know that.
Well, this was your show, and
I do a good job preparing.
Coffee beans are not beans.
Are they nuts?
Nope.
Are they seeds?
They're seeds. Because coffee is a fruit. It grows on a tree like a fruit, so it's the seed. So they're not beans.
I know that.
You don't have any others?
I don't have any others,
Right,
no,
well,
because
there we
I'm
go.
prepared for something else.
Twinkies do not last forever.
What's the shelf life on a Twinkie?
I don't know, but it's not forever. I was disappointed in that. Because I always thought about keeping Twinkies here in case, like, Armageddon, and then you'd have, like...
I did see a TikTok the other day with these people that had had their McDonald's meal from like 1983. They had the burger and the fries, and they had them sitting out like on the shelf, and they hadn't spoiled or changed in any way. They looked like a burger and fries from today. They were gross, but it had a date right there with the receipt from when they bought it.
You know, I think, too, that's pretty gross. But along those lines, too, I think that if you looked at a hamburger from 1983 and compared it to today, the hamburger's smaller today, right?
Probably.
Like the Big Mac is smaller than
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
So.
That's a good point. Are they still a quarter pound? Is a quarter
No,
pounder
quarter pounder.
still a quarter pounder?
You know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese in France?
I do. Wait. The Royale with
The
cheese?
Royale with cheese. Where'd you get that from?
It's the movie.
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction.
Love that movie.
That's right.
It's a good movie.
What's your favorite movie?
Oh, my favorite movie is Major League.
Major League, really?
I love that movie. It has it all. There's a love story. There's sports. There's the underdog. There's the feel good at the end.
And that's the evil owner that's trying to have him lose. Right?
Yeah, she wants him to lose and move to Miami from Cleveland.
That shocks me about it. That's your favorite movie.
I love that movie. It's a great movie. It has it all. It has all those elements right there.
So that's what we're looking for in a movie.
Yes.
You said
A little suspense.
underdog.
Underdog.
You said sex, right?
I did.
Said
But there was
love
a little
story.
love story in there. Yeah.
Suspense. Yeah.
A little
That's
suspense.
fine,
Yeah.
Well, but that's
Come back.
about every movie.
Like it's a feel good at the end. Makes you happy.
I think of the characters. I mean, there were those, like, all the years of playing baseball, those are real characters. Those are real people.
Yeah. Willie Mays Hayes.
Who was played by?
Oh, I forget. Oh, I don't remember. Who was it? You tell me.
Wesley Snipes.
Yes.
You had Charlie Sheen. You had the president from 24. Serrano. Jobu.
Was he the president in 24?
Dennis Haysbert, yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
And Renee Russo wrote. She was
Yeah. She was cute. She was pretty. And then the other guy that was the catcher.
Tom Berenger. Who I met at Hilton Head one night at a bar.
Really?
And I asked him, for a picture, and he said no.
That wasn't very nice. Yeah. You should have told him your friend Sharon's favorite movie is Major League.
Yeah. He had wanted nothing to do with it.
Well, that's not very nice.
Have you ever met a famous person, celebrity, and you wanted a picture or an autograph, and they turned you down?
Nope.
You won't ask them?
Never asked. Never asked. I haven't really come in contact with a lot of famous people. Shockingly.
Well, now that you're on YouTube, the YouTube, how about wet hair causes a cold?
Oh, that is an old wives' tale.
Did you hear that when you were little?
Yes. Yes. Maria Trillo is the fact that is not a true thing. Sorry to call out Maria Trillo on the show, but that is a solid
Why
fact.
not? Why doesn't wet hair cause a cold?
I don't know.
We should all know this now.
Because your head you don't lose heat out of your head.
Well, you do, 7%.
Oh, but not that much.
Yeah, but that's not why.
Oh, why?
Because the cold is a virus.
Oh. We should all know this now.
Yep.
You're right. Yes.
Cultivars. We always believe that Napoleon was short.
I see in that commercial he's short. Is he not short? How tall was he?
You call it what, Napoleon's disease, Napoleon complex?
Napoleon complex.
How tall was Napoleon? How tall do you think Napoleon was?
I don't know. I think
give a-
in my
look,
head,
18,
I would tell you that
13.
he was 5'4".
5'4". Is that short?
For a man.
Napoleon was 5'7".
That's not that short. That is
But
still
think back
kind of
then,
short for a man. But back
200
then people were
plus years
shorter,
ago.
weren't they?
200 plus years ago, it was. But he gets the rap that he was short. Even in the movie references, right?
Yeah, he's always a little short, buddy.
How about this one? I was told this one time and again. I was little. It takes 7 to 10 years for gum to digest.
I know that one's not true.
You know how long it takes?
Like the same as any other
Yes.
food. Yes. Yeah, I got one right.
Oh, here's my favorite one. This is the last one I just captured, but
Okay.
my all-time favorite. What are you supposed to do when somebody gets a jellyfish sting on their...
Pee on them.
We've always been told to urinate on them, right?
that
Wrong.
not wrong?
Quite the opposite. Because you don't want, like, your urine
It's dirty.
is highly acidic.
Yes.
Well, acid's just going to exacerbate the sting. So you need a base like vinegar.
Oh. Okay.
But I still, like, if, let's say Jeff got a jellyfish, I would pee on him just to say I just to say I pee on him.
Heck yeah, man. That's funny. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Look, these are a lot of things I didn't know.
Well, so tell me the other ones you got. Well, tell me the story, though. Like, so there's a couple of episodes they had, right?
There's a couple of episodes, and I haven't listened to all of them, but I think they're probably all very interesting. But there was one of them that made me sad, and it was about losing your older relatives to Fox News. And so I thought it would be interesting to listen to that podcast and see what it said and hear both sides of a story. And they did not give both sides of a story in that podcast, which made me a little bit sad. But what I learned from reading that or from listening to that podcast is just that is just kind of how we have really lost touch with being civil with each other and being nice to each other and saying nice things and listening to each other. Like if you've lost...
That's bullshit, Sharon.
But if you've lost your parent, like if you can't talk to your dad anymore because they watch Fox News, then that's a problem for you. And you really need to work on...
What, can you stop talking to them if they're watching MSNBC?
Yeah. You wouldn't
Did
stop
they
talking
bring
to
that
them
up
then.
too, or they just
Yeah,
say...
they did.
Okay.
They did, but my point of it was just that we all, like, I feel like as a society, and especially around social media, we have lost a lot of our ability to be nice to each other and be understanding and be tolerant and civil, yes. And that's what they weren't in this, which made me sad. But so I would like to prove that once again, people can be civil and nice to each other, and that they're wrong about their not talking to their father anymore.
I mean, would you...
No,
I mean...
I wouldn't.
I would
wouldn't
not
do
stop
that.
talking to my parents because of what they watch.
I wouldn't either.
If that was the case, I would have stopped talking to my dad when I was in elementary school because he'd come home from work and right before dinner, we'd come in and we have to get ready for dinner. Then the TV would be on, and he'd take it over and put it on MASH reruns.
Right.
And I wanted to watch like the Brady Bunch or
Exactly.
the Munsters and like
No,
bullshit. We
I
had
know.
like one TV, right? So you
Right? Yeah. No, I know. It makes me sad, and so that one made me a little bit sad. But I think just as a society, we just need to be more tolerant of each other, a little bit nicer.
Okay, so this reminds me of your birthday in Nashville, and we're sitting around the people, and you start singing on the sidewalk there. Okay.
Yeah.
So, what do you think is what could we do to make it better, make this world a little better place, more civil?
I think we need to listen to each other. One of my favorite quotes is, "You never have to wait." I wrote it down. Because it's a
One of my
favorite.
favorite quotes.
It is a favorite,
But
but
I
I
don't
want to
remember.
make sure I get it right. I just want to make sure I say it right. Because it's when you never have to listen to anybody, you never have to change your mind. Think about that. When you never have to listen to anybody, you never have to change your mind. And that's what people do right now. Like, nobody listens to each other.
Yeah, but what if I don't want to change my mind? Well,
You don't have to change your mind.
I'm not kidding.
But you should listen. And that's, I feel like, something that is a struggle in today's society.
Why are you staring at me?
So, that's all. That's all. But I like the things that people are wrong about better. I think that's more fun. And I don't have anything else that people are wrong about.
What do you think? Top of your head, though. What's something that you hear all the time and you're like, that can't be true?
Let me think.
I think one.
What?
That I need to listen more.
No, you do need to listen more. You do need to listen more.
You know what they call me?
What?
Larry the listener. I don't have a problem listening.
No, you don't have a problem listening. No.
Larry, I show you Larry well.
But yeah, so there you go. That's all.
Well, Sharon, are there other topics, and we won't talk about it tonight, but do you like that you want to really dive into? We could, in our next episode of Bullshit Behind
the Barrel.
Bourbon Barrel, which I think is an outstanding name.
Thank you.
By the way, the Bourbon Barrel, new addition here to the Parlor. A couple restored bourbon barrels, and makes for a great little setup here.
Great little setup.
Yeah. So, any other topics that you think coming up? You say, I really want to dive into this. I got to ask the standard question then while you're thinking about it.
Okay. What's the standard question?
Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
No. I know you think it's a Christmas movie. It's not a Christmas movie. I understand that there are elements of Christmas in it, but it is not a Christmas movie. It's a action thriller.
Can you not have an action Christmas movie?
You can.
Was Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was action?
Not really.
What are you talking about? He jumped into action like save the Christmas?
Yeah, but that was more centered around Christmas. Die Hard is centered around terrorists.
Die Hard is centered around Christmas. There's just having
No, it just happens
terrorists
to be,
coming in and gumming up the works.
It
Capiche?
just happens to be at a Christmas party and at the season.
On Christmas Eve, all the music is Christmas music.
It's not a Christmas
He even says, ho, 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 now I have an effing machine gun.
I know. But it's not a Christmas movie. Sorry. What did Bruce Willis say about that? Does Bruce Willis think that's a Christmas
It doesn't
movie?
matter what Bruce Willis
I think
says.
Bruce Willis does not think it's a Christmas movie. I think you should look that up. Things you're wrong about.
If it's on the internet, it's got to be true, right?
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
What do you think you want to tell the audience before we go? Like, I mean, you want to go positive here and like listen to each other more. So
I know. Yeah. Just be kind with your bourbon.
be kind.